Fight!
Fatalities, chat. Oh, the game is over, but the mystery is afoot. Now say with me now, chat. Say with me now. Arigato. Oh, chat. It's not done. How was the Snowman? What happened? Oh, listen. Okay, we can get into the Snowman now, chat. Now, as I said at the top, guys, and after the Snowman, guys, I will be jumping back into Skyrim. This will be my last Skyrim stream for quite a while. I couldn't decide the game to pick. I was like, you know what? Let's just have some fun with Skyrim. We'll do some of that tonight. So there you go. More Adventures of Aegis and Sneaky Cat Daddy coming very soon. But I'll tell you right now, guys, this it's probably the worst movie I've seen so far in this my spoiler scene by scene breakdowns, just because of how completely incoherent it is. At least in the bye-bye, like, I'll give the bye-bye man this. I understood what was happening. You know, I was like, okay, kids, they're in college, they get a house, evil demonic entity starts haunting them, making them see weird shit. Yeah, it's terrible, the acting's bad, and it's not scary whatsoever, and the mythology doesn't make any sense, but it's like, at least they told a beginning, a middle, and an end, and I could follow it that way. This one, you can't. I'm sorry. Because, as people have said before, this film, which is a matter of fact, it's an adaptation of an incredibly... Oh! King Big B! Thank you so much for the subscription. Welcome to the stream, by the way. Using that Twitch Prime. The Revenites grow, chat. But for those who don't know, I mean, the Snowman is actually the adaptation of a very popular novel, acclaimed novel called, again, The Snowman. And I think it's part of the Harry Hole series. That's the main detective you follow in this film, played by Michael Fassbender. I mean, people love this book. And they were very excited for an adaptation, but apparently, listen, the last thing I would want to do right now is read that book after watching this movie. I'm sure the book is great. You know, this movie obviously did not do this book justice because so many people, like, I went online later just to look at reviews, or not even reviews, I mean, reviews of the film, certainly, but just people who are fans of this author's work. I'm trying to figure out who even the author is. Someone can help me out here. Let's see. Joe Nesbo. He's the writer of the novel. Yeah, he apparently had it's funny. He said he was supposed to have a small cameo, but his scenes were all cut from the film. That makes sense, because a lot of this film was cut to shit. So yeah, I guess it's a part of the Harry Hole series. And this is the issue I have with the guys. I mean, from what I've read from fans of the book, like, they were pissed when this movie came out, because it makes literally no sense whatsoever. We just go from scene to scene without really any connective tissue. And, you know, reading about just the history of this film, as you guys said before, only 75% of this movie was actually shot. And that's why we go from certain scenes, like without any sense of continuity. And even when scenes take place in the past, they never say they take place in the past until much later on during the film. Val Kilmer's character in the movie, he plays another detective. And, ooh, I'll tell you right now, like, I think this was when Val Kilmer was very sick, because he had throat cancer, and I don't know if he had throat cancer while filming this or he was in the recovery phase, but not only does he look incredibly rough, but I believe they dubbed over his voice because that sounds, unless the throat cancer affected him, but that it sounds nothing like him. And I imagine it is a dub just because the way the audio, it can't really match his lips very well. And like how the person who's doing the audio sounds much louder than what appears Val Kilmer's actually speaking. Because Val Kilmer's speaking very softly, but sometimes his voice will rise. And it's like, but it doesn't make any sense because it's not matching his lips. So that is just incredibly uncomfortable to watch, that dubbing. So it is, okay, he was dubbed throughout the film. But if you want to get into the plot, guys, I'll try to get into it right now. So the film opens up in one of the most miserable situations imaginable, chat. Fucking Norway in the goddamn dead of winter. I mean, it's just fucking ice and snow and isolation. It looks like a miserable existence. Apparently, Norway is one of the happiest countries on earth. I can't fucking tell based on this movie. Everyone seems like they're fucking miserable and cold. The only way I can imagine it's the happiest country on earth because people are just drowning themselves in alcohol during the winter. And they just become numb to everything around them. I wonder if alcoholism, like if Norway has like a high level of alcoholism. Because Jesus Christ, it must. And, so I guess that the film opens up. It's like we cut to a very remote cabin with this mother and child just living there, just being miserable. I mean, she kind of likes the kid, and the kid clearly loves his mom. He's all about her. He just wants to protect her and everything like that. And then all of a sudden, over the snowbanks, they see this little car coming up to their shit cabin. And the boy's like, "Oh, Mama, the guy's here. Uncle Joe. We're just gonna call him Uncle Joe." The kid's like really happy about it, and the mom's like, "Oh shit, no, he's not supposed to arrive until Tuesday or whatever." And the kid's like, "No, yeah, Mom, Uncle Joe." And so Uncle Joe comes in there, and he's got all these groceries with him. He's got, I don't know, some other gifts for the kid who's so happy to see him. And then we cut to a scene where Uncle Joe, the kid, and the mom, they're all sitting in the kitchen, and Uncle Joe, he's testing this little kid. He wants to know if this kid's been studying his Norwegian history. So he starts asking him all these questions very seriously. And you can tell this kid's not very smart. He's a little slow. He was constantly like looking at his mom like, "Oh, who was the king of Norway during the 1930s?" And he's just looking at his mom. He's like, I don't know. And, the Uncle Joe looks at the mom and looks at the kid. He's like, "All right, let's do another question." And he asks something else. "So what happened after World War II with Norway?" And the kid's like, I don't know. And then Uncle Joe looks at the mother and just fucking backhands her. And he just like hits her so goddamn hard. You get fucking whiplash. It's like, wow. And then he goes back to the test and he goes, "All right, what happened with Norway after World War II? Who was the prime minister of whatever?" And the kid's like, at this point, the kid's like, "Oh shit, if I get something wrong, he's going to backhand my mom. So I can't fuck this up." And of course, he fucks it up. And he backhands the mom so hard that she falls off a tree, goes across the goddamn and falls on the ground. The kid's panicking. He doesn't like this. The mom's also playing with coffee beans for some reason. Like, she's putting them in weird patterns and things. That's like, I don't know, like a tick or something. And so, Uncle Joe's like, "Well, you got to teach this boy how to study. He's got to know his Norwegian history." And mom's apologies, like, "Oh, I'm teaching him. He's just so stupid." And then eventually the kid, he wanders outside. He's going to build a snowman, chat. And then Uncle Joe and the mom, they go upstairs. They're going to start fucking banging. And the kid hears all this wrestle going on upstairs. Of course, he creeps up the stairs. He looks at the weird bedroom window, which is in the hallway. That's kind of bizarre to me. I don't know if they have those in Norway, those Norwegian hallway windows, but it's weird into people's bedrooms. And he just, he hears all the wrestle and the noises. Not the mother, she's just fucking dead to the world. But the guy's like, just, ugh. Not great. He sees the aftermath and everything. The Uncle Joe, he can't really keep it up anymore. He's trying his best. And the mother's like, "You know what, Uncle Joe? I'm going to tell your family that he's yours." And so clearly, Uncle Joe is the family of this dumb kid who doesn't know his Norwegian history. And he's keeping the mom and kid in this remote cabin away from his family. That's why, but he's still abusive as all hell. He's a piece of shit, chat. That's what he established. And Uncle Joe's like, "You will never tell them." And he looks over at the weird hallway window. He sees the kid. He's like, "Oh." And apparently Uncle Joe's very bashful. He's like, "Well, I'm done. I'm just gonna leave. I don't need any of you. The only way you could survive is with me." And so he leaves, and the kid is crying. He wants Uncle Joe. I guess he just found out was his dad. So he's kind of panicking. And we see this really far away wide shot. in which, like, would have been better probably to get a more intimate thing, chat, like, actually what's happening between Uncle Joe and the kid, but I guess the filmmaker just didn't want to do this. He wanted to get as far away as possible and not hear anything. He wanted to capture that Norwegian depressing landscape of just snow and ice and the isolation, chat. A lot of isolation in this movie. And so he fucking drives off. The mom, she wanders out in her bathrobe. She's like, Uncle Joe, wait. And her and the kid, they get in the car, and they're just following Uncle Joe, chat, the entire time. On these really slippery Norwegian roads. Again, taking the landscape. It's very cold. It's very icy. It's not great. Would not want to live there. Again, be a goddamn more of an alcoholic than I already am at this point, if I lived there. And then at one point, after following him for like a good 5 minutes, mom's just like, you know what, fuck it. And she just turns off the road into the middle of a lake. It's all covered in ice and everything. And the kid's like, Mom, what are you doing? No, you can't do that. You gotta follow Uncle Joe, who apparently he's my father Joe. He's my dad. And she's not listening to him at all. She's just lets go of the wheel. And she's like, the wheel's in Jesus' hands now. And the kid does manage to stop the car at one point, but it's fucking spinning out on the goddamn icy lake. And, but then the kid's like, oh, we've survived. We stopped the car. We're okay, Mom, let's get the fuck out of here. And then he hears the ice start to break. And the mom's like, I don't give a shit. Fucking let it break. We're all going down with it. And the kid, he gets out of the car. And, the car starts to go under. The kid's just begging for his mom to get out. She just looks at him like, fuck you. I do not care at all. And so she just goes right under those goddamn dark current shit. She's taken away under the lake. Then we cut, I guess, years later, or it could take place at the same time. Again, they don't establish a chronology in the film, chat. And then we're introduced to the main character of the film, Harry Hole. Which, by the way, guys, Harry Hole, that brings a lot of things to mind. None of them pleasant. That's a very odd name for your main protagonist. And people even make like a joke about it. Like, I would be joking about that constantly. That guy's name is Harry Hole. But everyone takes it very seriously. Maybe it's got some weird Norwegian spelling where people are like, no, that means, a great detective or some bullshit like that. But no, his name is Harry Hole. And we cut to Harry Hole, again, in the dead of fucking winter in Norway. He's just, keeled over with a bottle of vodka in his hands, empty bottle of vodka. And apparently he's been sleeping at like a park bench all night long. Now, chat, I believe this is bullshit because this movie should have ended here. Or this should have been the first death of the film because there's no way Michael Fassbender, Harry Hole, could have survived a night in the dead of winter in Norway. Just a bottle of vodka to keep him warm. As a matter of fact, let's see what the average temperature of Norway is in wintertime. I'm very curious about this. Norway average winter temperature. Let's see. Let me go here. Okay, we got see, God, it's so fucking specific. Okay, here we go. So let's say it's January. It's 0 degrees Celsius. So what's 0 degrees Celsius? 0 degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit. That's average temperature. Okay, so 32 degrees. Is that what it is? So, I guess that makes sense. So it's 0 fucking degrees, chat. So it's freezing. So he would definitely be fucking dead. There's no question that after sleeping in a night with just alcohol to keep you warm, there's no way he would survive out there. So the movie should be over at this point. You could have spared me another hour and 40 fucking minutes. This movie is just under 2 hours long. Apparently, you need to be longer. You need another extra 40 minutes to explain what the hell is going on in this thing. And so apparently we established that Harry Hole, despite being a brilliant detective, is a bit of an alcoholic. He's a bit of a fuck up. And he just starts to wander around Norway. He shuffles back to his apartment, figure out what's going on. Apparently, his apartment is being fumigated for mold, chat. That's maybe why he's so fucked up. The guy's like, "Oh, you can't actually stay here right now, detective. You gotta leave. I'm getting rid of all this mold. Yeah, actually, it's probably pretty terrible that you've been here because it's like right above your bed and you've just been ingesting that for years. And so you should probably go to a hospital right now. Or unless the mold kept him warm for some reason. Maybe he has superpowers. I don't know. And so Harry Hole, he also picks up these theater tickets, these concert tickets that were laying on his table, chat, and they come later on in the film. Not for a very particular important scene, but just another weird scene. So he has these tickets, and then he goes into work. And apparently he's been off work for like 10 days because he's been in mourning or something. I guess like his uncle died. Someone's uncle died in the film. Again, it's not really established all that much, like why he's so. He's just a fucking wreck. Maybe someone died. Maybe he lied about it. It's just because he's probably just an alcoholic and he lives in fucking Norway where it's so goddamn cold. I'm sure he does that every goddamn winter. And so he's just trying to eat his food. And the detective, I guess the chief, he comes up to him. He's like, "Hey man, we got a murder. You know, we need your help to solve it." And apparently, or no, is that what happens? What the hell happens? See, again, it's so over the place. It's even hard to really understand. No, he doesn't. He doesn't say we haven't murdered yet. I'm sorry, chat. What happens is the police chief says, "You just clean yourself up and get back to work." And he's like, "All right, whatever." And from his house, he checks his mail like at the office, and he finds this one envelope, and it's addressed to him. Opens it up, and it's, basically it's from the killer that we're going to see throughout the film, the Snowman. And, he's kind of fucking with them, and he's, and it's like, "I'm going to give you all the clues, detective, etc., etc." And then his calling card, his signature is just a little picture of Snowman. And at some point later in the film, we cut to Val Kilmer's character, who's also investigating the case. Apparently, he's investigating this man's wife on behalf of this husband, who he believes his wife is cheating on him with another person, this politician played by J.K. Simmons. Val Kilmer, again, horrifically dubbed. It doesn't really they even cut behind his head to when we see the other guy, and then we hear Val Kilmer's dialogue throughout. It's like, it's clearly not him. It's super awkward and weird. But again, not establishing, what point that this is taking place in the film. And then there's, additional scenes of Val Kilmer throughout the movie where he's also investigating the Snowman killer, apparently. Because there's going to be some frequent deaths in the film. This guy, basically what he does, chat, this is his calling card. He's hunting after women who have families who he feels that are abusing their children, or maybe have had an abortion in the past. And what he does is he basically severs their head and then puts a little snowman head on top of them and leaves them there until it melts. And then it's just like the neck portion. That's about it. Val Kilmer's also investigating these two. I don't know how that relates to the initial case for the husband he was working for. But apparently, chat, this is taking place in the past, long before Michael Fassbender's character is investigating it. But they never established this until 3/4 of the fucking film. And it's ridiculous. You don't understand it because he's finding the same bodies as when Michael Fassbender's finding different bodies. It's like, oh, I guess these are just two different departments who are chasing after the same killer. When are Val Kilmer and Michael Fassbender never ever going to meet? And look, they don't meet at all. And there's a fucking good reason for it. It comes later on in the film. And so Michael Fassbender's like, well, that was fucking bizarre. And then we cut to this woman who's walking in a parking lot, and someone just fucking whacks her with a goddamn snowball out of nowhere. And she turns around and is like, who did that? And no one around her. She's like, I'll just fucking leave. She goes in her car, and all of a sudden this other car, the only other car in the parking lot, also starts following her. And, she goes back home. She's interacting with her daughter and everything. She's like, oh, yay. And then she's argues with her husband, who that they got some marriage issues, chat, apparently. This unknown woman, this unknown girl, and this unknown husband. And later on, when she's just reading a good book after the husband just leaves because he's all pissy, and the daughter, she's in bed, another fucking snowball thrown out the window. Chat's like, who the hell's throwing these goddamn snowballs? And so she puts on her little slippers and her little bathrobe, and then she goes out into the night, never seen again, chat. Never see her again the rest of the movie. She just disappears, and that's how the case starts. That's how Michael Fassbender gets involved. That's how, what's her name? The actor, Rebecca Ferguson gets involved in this case. Now, okay, it's just a missing woman. That's how this is all apparently related to each other. And eventually, okay, we can't find her. We question the husband. We question the little girl. Again, clearly there's some bizarre family issue here where the wife and the husband don't like each other, but they're together just for the child. It's like, okay, all right, fine. Kind of established, the thorough line of the movie. The killer only kills women who he perceives are abusing children, I think. I don't know. It's not, again, there's no connective tissue. Later on in the movie, the detectives get a call that says that, there's actually another missing woman that we don't know how it's related to the case, but let's just send you out there to go check it out. And they're like, okay, fuck it. And so they go to this remote Norwegian chicken farm, and they're looking to the house, and they can't find the missing woman. It's like, clearly she's not here. She is indeed missing. But then they hear some music playing from the chicken coop out back, and they go out there, and then we get a scene where the missing woman is just cutting all the heads off of these chickens. And the cops are like, clearly you're here. Someone reported that you're missing. She's like, oh, no, that didn't happen at all. I've been right here. I've just been listening to music, just killing my chickens. That's all I've been doing. Like, oh, sorry to bother you. We're just going to go ahead and leave. And they leave, chat. And then all of a sudden, the killer appears. And he, stabs her with some drug, knocks her out, chat. And he gets his little weird saw. Not a saw, but it's like a string saw type thing where he winds it up. And it's like a Garrett wire where it puts it around her neck. And he presses the button and it tightens so much that it just cuts her head off, chat. And it's like, ooh. And it's very quick. You don't really see much. And then detectives, again, this happens within the space of 5 minutes when detectives meet her and when they leave. And so the detectives, they get another call from the police department saying, listen, another missing call was just put out for this woman. Did you find her? Like, yeah, she's totally fine. But the people at the department say, just happened 2 minutes ago. And they're like, oh my God, the killer, he was the one who did it. And so they head back to the house and they find the woman's severed, not the severed head, not yet. They find her headless corpse in the chicken coop. Chickens are just fucking enjoying themselves. They're just eating her at this point. They're getting revenge, chat. They watch their brothers and sisters being fucking decapitated over and over. And they're like, now we're gonna get ours. And they just been pecking at her the entire time. Which I support the chickens in this case. And so they're like, well, we got murdered. We fucked this up. I mean, literally, the killer is probably still in the premises, matter of fact. It's only been 5 minutes. So we can probably just get helicopters in here and probably catch them, like, really easy. I mean, there's no one fucking lives in this Norwegian farm town. It'll be easy to spot. But, nah, they're not going to do that. And so eventually they call the other officers to the farm place. No helicopter or anything. Again, I guess it's just too fucking cold. The roads would just freeze up. And then Harry Hole, he's investigating the whole area. He finds this abandoned grain silo. Oh! Witness! Witness me! Thank you so much, Corey. Thank you so much, Double Toasted. How you guys doing? Hello. It was the classic black tee with the white logo. Oh. Stallion Prime, thank you for the follow. Yes. New brings laptops. I am being witnessed. Of course, probably making fun of me right now. He always, look, he's going to say this thing. Of course I'm going to say that thing. It's my shtick. Garden Angel, good to see you. Broadway Tone. The Controllers. Fern. No, good to see you guys. Let's see. Let me thank some of the new followers. Right, we got a lot of new followers. Want to thank Stallion Prime, Zenny User, Darkman119, The Chaos Theory, Darrow45, and the Controllers. As I said, again, guys, welcome. Hope we're all having a very nice Friday. Just been talking about the F9 trailer. Now I'm into my spoiler review for a piece of shit movie called The Snowman, which was voted by my lovely viewers on Wednesday. My next bad movie review. It's been a lot of fun. Superfro, thank you for the host. Just saw Stallion Prime. Thank you, 100 biddies. Twerk for me, baby. I'm saving these cheeks, man. Takes more than 100 biddies to get me twerking. We gotta get hyped at least. Garden Angel, oh, I've been here the whole time. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just being inundated with so much love at the moment. I'm forgetting who was originally here, but no, I'm good to see you guys. I'm glad you're here right now. Thank you so much. How was the show? How was Corey's breakdown, his scene by scene breakdown, the F9 trailer? I'm very curious. And again, thank you for the host, and thank you, Stallion Prime, for the 100 biddies. No, I'm in the middle of it, man. I'm in the middle of this fucking dog shit movie review. Don't worry about it. Absolutely terrible film. And we got Bulletproof Blackie Chan. Thank you for the follow. You're my Huckleberry. Whole new Huckleberries added to the posse, chat. And one Steve Glass the follow. And Tiger GD. Thank you so much. Welcome. So many more Huckleberries. Start the review from the top. We missed it because we were watching Corey. Listen, man, it's hard to even go back from the top. This movie makes no goddamn sense. Only 75% of it was actually shot. The editing is terrible. The sense of continuity is all over the place. There are flashback scenes, but you don't know they're flashbacks until 3/4 of the way into the movie. You think they're taking place at the same time, just in different places around the ridiculously cold and frigid landscape of Norway. Listen, Val Kilmer's in it. He plays the detective. You don't find 3/4 of the way until later on that it takes place 8 years earlier. That's all I could say right now. Oh, the Controllers, thank you for the subscription. really do appreciate that, man. Welcome to the Revenites. The cult of Reverend grows. So where did I leave off, chat? Oh, yeah, so Harry Hole, that's the detective's name in the movie, chat, played by Michael Fassbender. He finds the head of the chicken killer who was decapitating all the chickens. She got what she deserved, chat. She was always decapitating chickens throughout her entire life on her farm of horrors, and she got her just medicine. They find her down like a grain silo shaft, and her head's like on a little snowman body. And so, you know, they take that and they're like, oh shit, this is some serious nonsense. We gotta start investigating. Like, how are all these women connected? And apparently the connection comes from this medical company, I believe, where they all got abortions. I think that's what it is. I'm pretty sure. Or some prenatal type care. If I'm wrong, I apologize. It doesn't make much sense. And it was just really fucking boring chat, and it was hard to pay attention. I'm like, it's very easy to me. It's like, oh yeah, I'll just sit down and watch a movie. I get what's happening. This one, this is hard to tell. It's the continuity's all over the fucking place. And so eventually, they go to this conference where I guess the leader of Norway is J.K. Simmons, or he plays a very important political figure. They're at like one of his rallies, and he's somehow connected to this prenatal abortion clinic thing. And like he's all about getting the goddamn World Cup in Oslo. That's what he wants to do. And then we find out that J.K. Simmons apparently loves to fuck. He's all about it, you know, but like not in like, oh, he just, you know, he likes the women or anything like that. No, he's like into some really kinky, weird shit where he just has this doctor, this prenatal abortion doctor, bring in women for him, and he just starts taking pictures of them. You know, they just drop their dress, and he's like, why are you doing this? Click, click, click. And he wanders off. It makes no fucking sense. He's the worst pervert. He is the worst pervert in the world. Because it's just confused. I'm just confused. Okay, I guess, yeah, he's supposed to be creepy, but he's not even good at being a pervert, Chad. It's just weird. It's not filmed in the correct way. And so, yeah, he's wandering around, and the Rebecca Ferguson character, she sees all this. She's like, okay, clearly, well, we know that J.K. Simmons is a piece of shit, but I want to talk to this prenatal care / abortion doctor. I think he may know something, and he has some type of connection with these victims. And so they go to the prenatal abortion doctor's house, and they start asking him, he's weird, chat. I think they're implying that he's, I don't know, like he's homosexual, like he's gay or something. Like they're not clear about what they're trying to do with this character, you know, because for whatever reason he has painted toenails, and he's very effeminate. Again, it's not clear. I mean, maybe there was more to him. Again, 25% of the movie could have explained who the hell this guy was and what relation he had to the plot. So they go to talk to this guy. He's like, hey, we have one missing woman and one person, the chicken lady, her head's gone. How are these two connected? Why were you seeing them? She's like, I can't tell. That's doctor-patient confidentiality. And they're like, all right, we're going to come back with a warrant. So you stay right here, mister. Oh, and also in the film chat, Harry Hole, he has a relationship with this other woman who he was dated for like at least 20 years apparently, and he's still kind of with her, but also not kind of with her. And he's always like hanging out with her son apparently, and this is the part that's just weird. Harry, like the son is actually, the woman he's seeing, her son is actually his son. But they just won't reveal the fact that Harry Hole is the father for some reason, even though he's constantly hanging out with this kid. Like, it wouldn't be a big deal if he just reveals, like, yeah, I'm your dad. You know, he's taking on fucking camping trips and to his hockey league and shitty concerts. Oh, by the way, chat, that's where the concert comes in. Because he finds these random tickets on his apartment that's being fumigated for mold, which he clearly ingested over the course of, I'm going to say, at least 10 years. Probably why he's so fucked up. And they go to this, I don't know how to describe it. I guess it's like a throat yodeling concert. People aren't even like really singing; they're just screaming in the microphones, and you're just kind of there for 2 minutes. And then we just leave, and then he takes the kid back to his not girlfriend, basically his baby mama, I guess. I don't know. He drops him off, meets her new boyfriend, who, funny enough, chat, has a degree in prenatal care. That's gonna come back later in the movie. Who is that describing me? Big Twan, 83, think of the fall. How you doing tonight? Oh yeah, Toby Jones is in the movie too. Yeah, Toby Jones, he's like the boss of Val Kilmer's detective character, and he's barely in it. he basically just stands there. He gives exposition. I think he has about a screen time that I think amounts to like 120 seconds, at least 2 minutes, chat. And he's out of the movie. Yeah, after we'll just jump right to that scene, because I don't know how all this continuity falls into place. I really don't know. Then after he drops off the kid, he talks to his baby mama's new boyfriend. I forget his name, Matthias, I think his name is. And they're talking, you know, prenatal care is like, oh, you're investigating a doctor who's prenatal abortion care? I know all about that. You know what? We can have a chat later on about that. It's like, Harry Holmes, I'm going to take you up on that, man. I mean, I need to maybe, you know, ask you some questions. So he leaves, and eventually he goes to Toby Jones's character, who is the boss of Val Kilmer. We finally find out, like, what the fuck's been happening with Val Kilmer. Apparently, all the Val Kilmer scenes take place 8 years in the past. And he was the original guy who was investigating the Snowman killings. And we find out, chat, that, you know, the Val Kilmer, he was nuts. He had a lot. He was an alcoholic. They even had this one scene where he's talking on the phone. Clearly not Val Kilmer talking. He's very upset about it. They're throwing him off the case. And he slams the throw down. And he just walks out the window and on the roof. And he takes a big old water bottle, which I assume is filled with alcohol, chat. He starts, you know, basically, it's stimulating that he's ejaculating on the windows with it. I'm not joking. We see Val Kilmer with a water bottle doing a faux ejaculation towards Toby Jones. So it's happening. And then he just starts drinking it. And he's going, bleh, the whole time. And then we find out from Toby Jones that, yeah, I mean, he had a lot of issues. But he died, actually, during when his investigations. They found him at his cabin. And he had blown his head off. And then we see a really bad CGI Val Kilmer get the top half of his head fucking blown clear off. The only thing that's left is the bottom jaw and the tongue. But we find out, chat, it's the goddamn Snowman killer who did it. I mean, they could have established that it was a Snowman killer, but they just tell you within the Toby Jones flashback, even though Toby Jones says that he killed himself, because we clearly did it in the flashback while Toby Jones' narration playing over it, there was a Snowman killer. And the Snowman killer puts a little snowman head on top of Val Kilmer's headless corpse. I guess technically he's not headless, chat. Like his upper head corpse, I guess, or just the jawed corpse. I don't know how I would describe it. How would you guys describe it? What in the hell? That's what happens, Midwest Macabre. I can't explain it. So they take him out. Val Kilmer has about 5 minutes of screen time. To be honest, chat, it was probably for the best because he was. I think this is the point when he had the throat cancer. He was just in remission, but he was in super rough shape. So hopefully he's okay. He's supposed to be in Top Gun Part 2, which is coming out later this year. What's the update on Val Kilmer's health? I'm actually kind of curious. Harold Bug, it's a very stupid scene. Yeah, we're about to lose Iceman. Hopefully he's okay. Apparently he's okay. Well, that's good. Thank you for updating me, Chris Ayers. I was curious about that. And again, guys, welcome to stream. Hope you're enjoying the review. We're almost done. Again, it's a very hard movie to describe because everything's just, it feels like it's happening out of order. You'd never learn about any of the characters. They're just there to fill you in with exposition. It's a very boring movie. And so, Harry Hoy's like, well, that's fucked up. I'm going to go to the cabin and see what Val Kilmer was doing. Meanwhile, chat, we're following Rebecca Ferguson and what she's doing. You know, she apparently might be doing some illegal stuff. She's like, okay, well, listen, okay, we can't get a warrant for the weird, effeminate, abortion prenatal doctor. I'm just going to go myself and sneak into his house. And she goes and she finds all these fucking dead bodies everywhere. She's like, what the hell just happened? And then eventually she's like, okay, I gotta call my superiors, even though she knows she's gonna get in trouble. But then she notices a light that is on in the garage. And so she finds the little garage clicker and she opens it up and there's the abortion prenatal doctor, headless corpse chat with a little snowman head on top. Looks like the same way that we just saw moments ago how Val Kilmer died. He's like, oh shit, this is not good. He's been claiming up. He doesn't want to be found, chat. And then we also cut back to Harry Hole in Val Kilmer's cabin. We discover that the Rebecca Ferguson character, she's the daughter of Val Kilmer's character. So it's personal for her. Harry Hole's like, oh, this is a conflict of interest. I got to get back to Oslo where the hell I was before. I don't know. They didn't really establish where they are in Norway, chat. They got to get back to the next cold place they got to go to. So he heads back. They take Rebecca Ferguson off the case. She's like, yeah, she lied about all that. You would think the police department would realize that Rebecca Ferguson's character was the daughter of Val Kilmer's character who's investigating the same types of cases. And be like, no, this is probably too personal for you. We're going to remove you from this. But again, this movie's so fucking incompetent, it just doesn't care. And so, Harry Hall's like, all right, well, I'm going to go talk to her. I'm going to go see her. And this is another really bizarre scene, Chad, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. He goes to her apartment. He finds no one there. It's dark and everything. He's about to leave. And all of a sudden, fucking Rebecca Ferguson pops out of the darkness and just fucking lays into his goddamn leg. Just, fuck you! And almost takes him down, but he avoids it, chat. And then he just proceeds to lay on top of her. Like, put all of his weight. Like, first he gets her on the ground, just lays on top of her. I mean, not because, like, he's trying to, technically he is physically assaulting her like this, but he's, just laying on her, very nonchalantly. Like, not like holding her arms down, just laying on her. Apparently Michael Fassbender's a fat fuck, because he's very heavy. Because Rebecca Ferguson could not lift him up. And that's when she reveals, like, yeah, Val Kilmer's my dad. And Harry Hall's like, yeah, I know, I saw the picture in the cabin, and it's weird. And then, they have a heart-to-heart, I guess, in a way. He's like, don't get involved in this. I'll catch the Snowman killer. And he leaves. She's like, fuck that. Clearly there's a connection between the Snowman killer, the abortion prenatal doctor, and horny J.K. Simmons. So I'm going to go and fuck up and interrogate J.K. Simmons. And so she leaves, and she gets, all sexed up, chat. The Bazungas, they're out tonight. She gets a gun, for protection, puts it in her purse and whatever. She goes to this, I don't know, I guess it's the conference where they're going to announce the city who's going to have the World Cup. Apparently, Oslo's one of the nominees, along with, I don't know, China and Japan and South Korea. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Oslo eventually gets it. Yay, I guess. I don't care. She's talking to J.K. Simmons. She's just flirting with him. He's like, okay, clearly you want to fuck me, so let's go ahead and do it, but I got to be here for the World Cup. Got to shake hands, kiss babies, all that kind of thing. Here's the key to my hotel room. Why don't you go up there, and we'll start fucking. She's like, sounds good. And so she heads up there, and she starts laying her plan in motion, chat. She's got her gun with her and everything. So as soon as fucking J.K. Simmons walks in, he starts stripping, just naked. She's going to pull the gun out and interrogate him, threatening to kill him. And then, I don't know, someone distracts her at one point. She's looking over, and then all of a sudden, chat, the Snowman killer shows up. And he drugs her. And he gets all of his equipment out, and Rebecca Ferguson's like, oh no, what's going to happen to her? And then we see him with the weird saw, garrote wire thing, puts around her finger, and we know what happens to her finger, chat. Fucking saws that shit right off, just pops right off. And the next scene we see, apparently she's carrying around this laptop with all the super secret files of the case. And, and what does the laptop need, chat? A fingerprint. A fingerprint to activate it, turn it on. And he has the finger. And the thing is, he really didn't have to do all that, too, because he just literally just brought the laptop over and just put her hand on it, and that would have been it. And he would have opened it up. He could have saved himself a little bit of time, I guess. But, he loves cutting things off at people. That's kind of his MO. Heads, body parts, cuts her finger off, deletes all the files. Like, shit, what are we going to do? And then eventually we cut to Harry Hole. He's like sipping some coffee in the morning. He sees a little snowman sculpture on Rebecca Ferguson's car outside of his apartment. He's like, oh no, he did something. He may have killed Rebecca Ferguson. So he spills his coffee in a very comical way. He runs down there, opens up the car, and lo and behold, chat, Rebecca Ferguson. And I didn't realize that apparently that she was dead at this point. Because I'm like, okay, is she dead? They never actually say that she died. And I had to check Wikipedia, and it says, yes, Rebecca Ferguson character did in fact die. I was like, oh, okay, well, thank you for the clarification. I actually did not know. So thank you for sharing that. She's dead, chat, lost the finger and everything. They do manage to recover some of the files. And I guess at one point, they figure out that the Snowman killer is a prenatal doctor who worked with J.K. Simmons and also the effeminate abortion prenatal doctor. And he's putting all these together. It's like, oh, I happen to know a prenatal doctor. Is it Matthias? And lo and behold, chat, actually is Matthias, the guy who is his baby mama is dating. Because then we cut back to his baby mama's house, and she's all worried because her son he ran away, I think, possibly because he was upset with Michael Fassbender's Harry Holt character. And, at this point, Matthias is like, who's the Snowman killer, guys? The Snowman killer. Again, it's done. It's not like a big fucking reveal. It just happens. It's like, oh, yeah, this guy just happens to be the killer. Okay. And he starts doing all the weird, creepy shit, which he wasn't doing before. He captures her and everything. He also eventually captures her son. And chat, this is the big thing that we know. This is the thing the big This is the reveal. He's taking him back to the cabin that we see in the original movie. He's that kid, because apparently he's got a goddamn chip on his shoulder about mothers that he perceives are abandoning or mistreating or aborting their children. Am I getting this right so far? Am I around there? I think I am. I think this is how. Yeah, sure, Chris, sure. And so Harry Hole, somehow I guess he figures out. I forget again. I was so bored at this point. I think I was getting food ready. I was eating tacos at this time, Chess. I stopped watching the movie for maybe like 5 minutes, eating a taco. I was taking more pleasure in my taco eating than the film itself. And so Harry Hole somehow eventually gets to the house. I don't know if Matthias, the Snowman Killer, tells him about it. He's like, hey, I got you. I think he does actually. He calls him, hey, I got your baby mama and your son, which I know he's your son, because your baby mama told me. And Harry Hole, he goes there, and he confronts Matthias, and we see his son tied up behind a chair, and even though he could clearly get up and get out, the wife has the Garrett saw plastic wire around her neck, and he's threatening her. He's like, hey, man, you gotta, I'll do it right now. And Harry Hole, like, says a few things that, like, set him off. And, like, he's just about to kill the baby mama. But then Harry Hole, he runs up and just slips his finger right under, between her neck and the wire, and just fucking severs Michael Fassbender's finger. Chad just takes it clear off, and we see it because Michael Fassbender, in a very comedic way, goes, ah! And then he starts wrestling. With the Snowman Killer. Eventually, the baby mama and the son, they get out of there. They're okay. You know, she got a little scraped up the neck, little blood and everything, but she didn't lose a goddamn finger like a Harry Hole. And the Snowman Killer, he fights in, and he throws Michael Fassbender off, and he starts running out into the lake, chat. And I believe then during the pursuit that Michael Fassbender, or maybe it was the Snowman Killer, started firing at the ice of a gun. Oh, the Ass Pounder 4000. Thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. Ass Pounder 4000. Michael Fassbender is a good actor, but why does the movie have a shitty review? Listen, man, Michael Fassbender is a good actor, but he's done a lot of garbage. There's no question about that. I mean, Assassin's Creed. Several of the X-Men films. Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix. Like, this guy has done bad movies. Yeah, listen, here's the thing. At the end of the day, you can be the most talented actor in the world. I've said this before. You can be the most talented actor in the world, but if you have a shit script and shit direction, your performance is gonna suffer no matter what. That's happened in many cases, many films over the years, decades. So basically, Michael Fassbender and the Snowman Killer, they're fighting out on the ice. The ice starts cracking, and the fucking Snowman Killer, he fucking drops right in there, just like his mom, chat. It fucking rhymes. It makes sense. And he gets trapped on the ice, and Michael Fassbender tracks him. He's like, and he drowns, and the current takes him under, just like his mama did. And then we cut to Michael Fassbender, going back to work and saying, what's my next case? Because they were setting up a sequel, chap, but a sequel will not come. And that's the Snowman. That's all that happened. It's terrible. It rhymes, said Joe Lucas. Exactly. And V's like, oh, jeez, that's a sweating snowman. Or is that like a frozen tears? Oh, no, it is a snowman sweat. Yeah, I'll tell you right now, guys, like, the fact that this movie, just 75% of it was shot, you feel it. Because there's nothing that really connects one scene to the next scene. It just flows in just one general direction where you just assume that, okay, everything's just taking place one after the other. And it doesn't. Like, you don't find out 3/4 of the way in the movie. As I said before, the Val Kilmer scenes all take place 8 years in the past. They never stop and say 8 years ago or something like that. Like, none of that's there at all. And then you're just like, wait, what? And you're just left confused, befuddled. There's no interesting performances in this film. Even the killer, the guy who plays Matthias, they give him nothing to do. His whole motivation is just so cliche. Abused kid. His mother abused him. His stepfather, Uncle Joe abused him. He's like, I'm gonna take it out on the world, all the mothers. Why wasn't he taking out on the other guys? I don't know. A lot of anger towards his mother, chat. It's fucking Norman Bates complex. Yeah, it's just a boring film. Like, Michael Fassbender is not interesting. Oh, and I love it because then they established, like, Michael Fassbender, he is such an alcoholic. You, like, it opens, like, with him sleeping in one place and then sleeping in another place, like, a few scenes later, just out in the goddamn cold. Apparently, he could take these Norwegian winters very easily, Chad. They're no problem for him. These 0-degree temperatures. No problem for Harry Hole. Yeah, it's just a really bad movie. There's nothing redeemable about it whatsoever. I guess there's some like nice cinematography. They take in the Norwegian landscape pretty well, some good wide shots. But I feel like anyone could do that. Honestly, they can capture the natural beauty and horror of a Norwegian winter. But this is just it fails at being an interesting mystery. You're never interested in it. You don't care about the main detective. Or at least, like, if you're gonna do a detective story, a mystery thriller, the main guy you're following who's trying to solve the case needs to be interesting. You need to have a Sherlock Holmes, Hercule Poirot, even more like a modern day type of detective. Elizabeth Slander, someone that just is striking and you just want to follow them. You know, I'll even say Daniel Craig's character from Knives Out. Again, there's some very different tones, but you need a big personality. And the script should highlight that performance. You know, bring out the kookiness to a certain degree of that character. And this just does it. It's just flat. It's just flat the entire time. And it's confusing. Yeah, this is a terrible film. Like I said before, like the Bye Bye Man, that was my... Oh! Thank you! Ooga! Thank you for the follow. I'm Huckleberry. Oh, and Mr. Little Sam, thank you for the follow. Another Huckleberry out of the posse, chat. I want to say, guys, this is probably worse than the Bye Bye Man. Because at least the Bye Bye Man, I knew it was happening. None of it was good. But in how they tried to establish a mythology, that failed. The characters all sucked. But at least I knew what was going on throughout it. I could follow it. This one, you cannot follow it. Because it's not done. And they just released in the theaters. And it's like, yeah, you're just left with a really... not in any capacity, a compelling story. It's terrible. It's worse than Bye Bye. This is the worst one I've reviewed. Because even if my reels, stuff just happens. Because I guess it just has to. Terrible film, chat.